We are back for the third and final installment of this mini-series. I had won recently the beta battle weekend at Onboard Gaming in the San Diego area this weekend with a blue-green rush style deck. I call it 1 Year War Blitz. It's right here. I've got a video on the specific cards in the deck and why I chose them and how I got to those decisions. You can look at that video if you want specifics. I also have recently done a video on opening hands. You can check that out as well. And now we're going to look at actual gameplay. We're going to first play against the menace of the beta format, blue-white strike control, as I like to call it. And I'll show you there's not a homogenized version of it yet, but generally you're going to see something along these lines. You're definitely going to have 4 of your main blockers. Some number of these for that card filtering, but I'm also seeing Overflowing Affection being played as well, though I don't have that in this version. I have this here. This helps a lot of your Gundams get haste, so I've included them, plus they work as a nice bounce unit if that's how they want to play against aggro. Obviously, 4 of each of these pilots is pretty standard. I have seen maybe a little less of 1 or 2 of them. This is also sort of standard. Archangel is determined to be better than the white base one because it costs less than 2. This is more of a late game thing you want to do anyway. And what else do we have here? We got some Grandpa Gundam as well. Gun Cannon, I don't know if all the decks playing this one, but I've seen enough do it, especially at the weekend tournament when I was playing, so I included that in there. Darabald, some number. Strike Dagger is a good early turn play, and then they do some Gun Tanks too. Gun Tank, pretty decent card especially against a deck like ours. Very useful. So that's what we're working with here. We are playing in Wing Table. It's the easiest way to kind of do these videos short notice. I did do a fair amount of testing here. As you're going to see, I am a patron of them. It gives me a better AI. It's still not perfect. They seem to be doing this as a passion project. They do it for a lot of games, and I imagine they just can only do so much. Not being an industry type product, it is free to use. You don't have to be a supporter to play the basic and the default mode, and I did that earlier in my testing. But for the week before, I kind of wanted to see what this was about. It also let us have other versions I could play to get certain play styles across. So for the strike, we'll play 2. We'll play 1, just sort of default, see them play what the AI thinks is the best mode, and then we'll play a control version of it too, where they go hard on that. You'll see the AI makes a couple questionable decisions, but it was good enough for the purposes of what I needed it for, which was quick, short little bursts of games, because my schedule is a bit hectic, and I'm not always able to schedule a webcam game, or I'm not great at figuring out how Zumbo Sim works. The tabletop simulator seems a little too complicated for me to figure out, but a lot of people like those. You can definitely go there to use them for the purposes of this video, so I could turn it out quickly, especially for all the Vegas people who were asking me about it. I just wanted to get you something quick, and it will give you the gist of the thought process you should have while playing the deck. We're going to pick random, just see how it goes with this first match against Strike Control. All right, not an ideal opening hand. It's not the perfect opening hand. They are starting the game, so we will get to play. We could theoretically play both of these on turn 1 and take out their base right away. We wouldn't have anything to do turn 2, which I don't love, but on turn 3, if both of these somehow survived, we could then take out 2 shields at least. It's not perfect. Depending on what I draw, I might also play this instead on turn 2 and save it. So there's a lot to think about. I could also just mulligan, and I actually think I'm going to do that, hoping to find something that can take their shield out in one go. All right, a slightly better hand. Not perfect, but pretty good. We do get to play this on turn 1, which you don't always want to, but it's good to have a play turn 1. We also now have this we could play as well. And we could have 2 guys, but again, we're not taking out the base that way, so I actually think I'm going to lean here. I will have to burn this up, but worst case, I can just play these on turn 2. And if I draw a better 2 unit, I might consider that. But I think we're going to lead here. And just get a pretty aggressive start. So let's see what our opponent will be doing. They don't always have stuff to play on turn 2, but this version has the strike dagger, so they'll probably trade off with us afterwards. But this will have done its job, and at least they'll be down a thing. We don't get a particularly great 2-drop, so we will get to play these. We sadly won't get to take effect of that, but at least we'll be able to kind of start tearing down at their shields. I'm going to attack first. They're tapped out, so I'm not super worried about anything. And then Gun Tank. And Zaku 1. Alright, and the good thing is, they wouldn't be able to play a Darabald anyway, but with these 2 toughnesses, they're not going to get bounced. Oh, interesting. The AI wants to attack here. They must have something pretty good in hand, because this medium version of the AI is meant to take into account what I might do next. And indeed, they do have a lot of their lower cost things, so they might want to try to trade off, and they are going to be able to do that. This Gun Tank will be able to take this thing out next turn, and then these strikes will kill my things. But we will have 3 of their shields removed. So I'm going to attack with my little guys first. Normally that's the heuristic anyway, but also if we end up getting a shield here, I may not want to attack with this anyway, so they can't trade off here and get a lot of value that way. So we'll go in with our Zaku 1. All right, so far so good. Going with our Zaku 2. They got a Suleta in hand. I don't quite remember the Darabald. I know they can rush out next turn. I don't think there's much linking it can do after that. She's just a really good butt if they want to play that defensive game. So we are going to go here. It's just worth it. They are going to clear our board, which will be a little unfortunate because we didn't draw a nice turn 2 play. A 1-drop that we could pair with one of our 2-drops here. Unfortunate. Sometimes it does happen. We are going to play this one. It's a bigger threat, and also we want to save these for later on. And probably next turn we'll play these 2. And that's unfortunately all we get to do. They do have an aggro start, so hopefully that means they don't have a lot of top end, but look, they have so many cards in there. Yep, as I thought, we're trading here. We will at least get to take out 1 shield. At some point, we'll find some pilots. All of these can be rushed. So if we draw a pilot, we will likely do that too, because then we'll still get 2 attackers, even though it's not resource efficient. All right, see here the AI... There we go. So some people might want to trade here. Look, see already, this is a really good get for us here. We can now get 2 more shields in. We are definitely going to attack. Some might consider trading off here. I don't think it's super necessary. So now I think I'm going to come in with the Gundam. It'll be a nice 4/5. That would trade off with that. This won't be able to kill it. If it survives another turn because they get a blocker, I can then use one of these guys to push him through. Not mana efficient, but it does take out another shield. It does put some pressure on the clock. If they want to get rid of all my units, they're going to lose all theirs too. And we're going to be able to play at least 2. If we draw another 1-drop, we can play that. If we draw a pilot, and either pilot will be able to rush on our turn. So Amuro, a pretty decent draw. We just hope, and even if they flip a shield, it's also not the end of the world, because whatever pilot we draw would get us to the 5 AP we would need to take it out, and then we just got to get 1 last hit in there, And again, all of these link. So all of our pilots are live draws. Go at that base. Some people might have tried to trade off on both these units here. I think that's a bit of a fool's errand. You don't want the game to go long. All right, see, we're going to be on turn 5, and they're already down to 1 shield. And that was for a slow start of ours. This was not a good start. It was not an optimal start, obviously. This one might not go after this unit. You might want to go here, which would make our pilots really good draws. See, like they have this blocker now, but it won't matter because we have this. And if we draw an Aggro, we just win the game. Did not draw an Aggro. We can, though, as I hoped, play out 3 units, one of which will help us destroy a shield. So let us play our white base, use our high maneuverability, attack. Excellent, no shields. Play this, kill off that. One less thing to kill off our Aggro. And then we play this. We've played 3 units on turn 5. They are untapped. Or I guess active is the word I should use in Bandai parlance. So likely one of these is going to get by. They can't play 2 blockers next turn, even if they kill this. And this guy, we actually have this to sneak our gun tank through. Got little gun tank might pull this off for us. So either of these we can push through no matter how many blockers they have. It's unlikely they're going to be able to kill both of them while it's in the active position. As you can see, we have plenty of shields here still to go. Even if they get a rusher, they only have so much resources to work with. Yeah, and they're opting to take the control role. They must have a blocker here. And they think that, no, that wouldn't even make any sense. Oh, look. A lot of live draws we have now. This is the other thing about having the 8 pilots that's good. Dareball doesn't affect us because the gun tank has 2. No blockers. Interesting choices. They didn't want to take that out. I guess they knew they were losing. So we're going to let the gun tank do its magic. We're going to play this. We're going to give our gun tank unblockableness, and we're going to attack. And we've won the game. Turn 6, a little later than we like, but that's because we had that slow start, as I mentioned. All right, we have now switched, as you can see, to control mode with our strike control. It's going to be, as it says here, focusing on units and trading. Doesn't always do that when I would expect it to, but it doesn't do it a lot more than the other one, though I don't fault it for trying to take that aggressive role. It did have a lot of its more aggressive units, its lower to the ground units. Again, who's the beatdown, as I talked about in the Mulligan video, the opening hand video. Even a control deck can be the beatdown sometimes. It usually has to do it towards the end of the game, but it does happen. So just keep that in mind. Though, again, some of you are probably pulling your hair out, some of you blue-white players watching like, why would the AI do that? I told you, it's not perfect, but it is good enough for this type of testing. You'd obviously want to make your testing more well-rounded. This is good for getting a feel of the deck, getting comfortable with it, and it worked. I knew the ins and out of my deck perfectly. I could tell you the list from heart if I had to write down a deck list on that day. I knew what outs I'd have. I knew how many of what card was left. I knew what thing I could draw that would affect what I'd play this current turn. So it was helpful for that. It gets a lot of quick games in. Not perfect. Definitely try to play webcam games. Play on those other forms that I'm a little too stupid to figure out. The Zumbo Sim and the Tabletop Simulator. And hopefully, soon there'll be weekly events at your local game stores and stuff, and definitely go there. That'd be a great place to do it too. I'm sure at some point they'll put out an online client. I guess I say that, but it seems like they don't have a lot of them there. Hopefully this game's popular enough where they'll do that. But for now, this is fine, and the Patreon's pretty affordable at $6 a month. And for all the work that they put into it, and they update it every day with the new cards, it certainly was very helpful for me. So now we're going to play against strike control in the control form. Again, we're going to go randomly. They are starting the game again, so we're going to get that EX resource. I do not love this hand against the control deck. I could theoretically start here, and then this is my turn 2 play, and this is my turn 3 play, potentially drawing a 1-drop so I can have 4 units on turn 3, but I don't know. Like, obviously, it could be a lot worse. I could have mostly pilots in a base. I think having 2 4-drop units here gives me some pause, but they are link units. They're not the Rizel. Oh, no, I guess that's a 3 cost anyway, or a turn 3 unit anyway. This one, I guess if you kept it, it wouldn't be the end of the world. I don't love it. On turn 2, you could find a 1-drop. This one is tough. We're gonna try to mulligan. There are better hands than that, and there are many of them. This was not one of them, so we're gonna see what the deck is like when we're playing a little behind. All right, we got a lucky draw here. It's not an awesome draw. It would have been nice if it were the Zaku 2. But a turn 1 play is a turn 1 play. We're going to get to play this on turn 2, this on turn 3, so it's not the end of the world. Though not as fast as I would like. If they play that Strike Dagger, I probably might still attack anyway. Just because they would trade it. And I've got this ball now to finish off the last damage. That really solidifies the idea for me. We won't get to play this next turn if I do that, though. But we do have this to play, and we kind of need to get stuff on the ground because we did have such a slow start. So I'm going to attack. Play this, and we're going to burn that resource. And at least we'll also be able to rush this out when turn 4 comes. And we might get lucky and find another 1-drop to get to play. Oh! The AI, obviously not perfect. I'm surprised it didn't want to trade off with me there. Because I'm going to get a lot of beefy hits out now. So we're going to finish off this base. Sadly, no HP to recover, but that's fine. We're going to attack here first, in case that's a base that flips over, because at least we'll be able to deal most of the damage to it, so even if this survives, we'll be able to finish it off. So away it goes. And we're attacking here. And they got Akira. That will be bad in 2 turns from now, but as you can see, we should be able to take out a fair chunk here. One of these is probably going to kill the ball. The other one might try to take this out, but we're going to be able to rush a Gelgu next turn. We're going to have this guy as well. We're going to be able to rush this next turn if we feel like it. We have options. We'll just give it to itself. Would have been nice to have saved that, but our hand wasn't ideal to begin with. I saw a lot of players yesterday sort of kicking themselves after mulliganing and being like, my first hand would have been better. But you don't know what your opponent's playing most of the time. You also don't know if your hand was going to be better, right? It's sort of unfortunate when you... But look, see, they got rid of his shield, so it's not the end of the world. They were able to pilot this, so they're going to keep both of these. But we have our rush. Either one we choose to rush with, we're going to be able to kick off the shield, get rid of 2 more of them. I probably will play Amuro Gundam first. And it will be because, well, maybe it doesn't make any sense. I guess maybe it doesn't matter. The high mobility will always be there, and this will tap down a blocker if I have that next turn. They both are going to get rid of the shields. This has the bigger butt, though, so they're going to have a harder time. No, they're the same. No, this is the bigger butt. All right, so we will do this. We will do this. We don't get an advantage of the tapping effect, but it's a better long-term play. because it'll have a harder time killing this. Most of their, well, only this one trades with it, but they're already getting so much value. They wouldn't, if they wanted to kill our Gundam, they would need to use 2 units to do it, and that's mainly the goal of Y. And if we happen to draw another G fighter, then this will get to attack and this will get to attack, but they're going to have so few shields, even if they have 1 blocker, which is all they're going to be able to play. We're going to have enough units to get around them, because we were also fortunate enough to draw the Zaku 1. So we're going to be able to, and this is where this Gundam is a lot better than the Grandpa, the fancy Grandpa Gundam, is now we get to play 3 cards in 1 turn, where we wouldn't be able to do that if this was this one. So that's why it might be better to add more of these in place of these. I think you maybe want 1 or 2 still, but just something to keep in mind. I talked about that in the first video about the deck construction. So we're playing this first because we want to take out that base in 1 hit. And so Amuro fortunately has that +2. It pairs very nicely. We're going to rest that for fun. Attack the Archangel. So even if they want to play their blocker next turn, they won't be able to untap it at the same time. Again, we want to be able to sort of maximize damage on the bases if necessary. And we're looking to be in good shape here. Uh-oh. Not good news for us, but again, like they won't they play the blocker, they play Kira, they don't have the 2 mana necessary to then untap it. So they will have to be on the defensive. We have a rush that's going to be able to get by any blockers. We just need 1 other unit to survive along with our Char. So we're going to play our Zaku 2, our Vanilla Gundam coming in clutch here. Not being the other Gundam. Our package really synergizing, even though we had the slow start. This is the turn where we want them to be dead. Basically, our turn 5. It's not so bad if they get 1 blocker out. But really, this was when they're going to start to be able to double spell soon, and that's when the real shenanigans are going to happen. But look, it looks like they don't even have an answer to my Gundam, so I'd be able to win. Yeah, okay, they had that. All right, so we did get unlucky there. I did forget about the bouncing here. I know it does it. I did just forget about it. This ended up being a good flip for them, but we are going to get to play all 3 of these cards again next turn. And if they want to kill this, it's going to cost them. And we're actually going to get to play all of them. So we really are going to be able to clamp down. We just need 1 thing to get us over the finish line. If one of these were a Link unit, I might consider saving them in case I drew the pilot or they burst the pilot into my hand so I can get that attack off quickly. But at least we're going to get that base out of the way, and hopefully they don't have another one in their hand to play so they can attack and block this on the same turn. Would have been nice if that were a Char Zaku 2, because then we'd have the backup even if they did destroy it, plus these other 2 units. But, you know, you're not always going to draw all the cards you need. It is, you know, it's a feature, not a bug of the game. You don't want your card games to be all that much like chess. It takes a lot of the fun out of it. So, unfortunate for us, but at least we get that one out of the way. We just need 1 of these units to get over the finish line. The blockers are no good. We wish these were 1 of the white base units. Oh yes, look at that. So if we got an extra card in hand. They want to oddly go after that. It doesn't feel super controlling to me. Oh no. That's bad. That might be it for us. That might be all that it takes to wind us down. We're going to play our 2 units. They could kill us this next turn if they have a rush unit. There's not much we can do about that. There's no point in attacking that. Well, there might be a point in attacking it. This is a tough decision. But we're so close, even with that pretty bad hand, that hand that was worse than our opening hand, and it didn't develop the best, and we still are this close, and it took 3 Archangels to really put the stops on us. If that last shield hadn't been an Archangel, or they didn't have one here, the game would be ours. They might have made different decisions, though, because they knew they had the Archangel there. That's a little tougher to say. So, okay, I think I am going to attack, because I'm going to get it down to 1. And then it becomes easier for any of my units to finish it off. And if we can burst a pilot into our hand and get a matching unit to go with it, there are plenty of live draws to still help us win the game. See, and this is them leaving our shields alone. It's giving us more turns, which, as I said in other videos, isn't exactly what we want against blue-white, but it's not the end of the world because they have no shields left. We just have to get 1 hit in. We wish we have one of our white base units here, so the G-Fighter becomes a live draw. See, like, because we would... Well, they have the 3 blockers, so it wouldn't really work that well anyway. We're going to hang tight here and see what they burst out of us. It's our best play. But this is why you don't want the game to go to turn 6. They've got a full board. They are doing the thing. Oh, no! Yeah, they just draw so many cards. They have really good card quality. They're going to kill my guy. Their gun's going to live and heal. We might have to pack this one in. But I'm leaving this video in for 2 reasons. To show you that, you know, the deck's not... I'm not, like, here to cheat you and try to snake oil salesman you. The deck does lose. It happens. Even against somewhat faulty AI. It happens. I know it's not a good look that it happens against a very control-y matchup with a very control-y AI. Yeah, oh, if only you'd been an Amuro. Actually, that wouldn't have helped either. It's this base. So we're going to lose. But I'm leaving it in. And you can see, though, how close we were. It took 3 bases. It took half their bases in less than half of their deck. They saw half their bases. One of them got flipped in a very timely way. And it took us to have a really bad hand. It was not a great hand. We didn't get to maximize our turns. And we still were this close. There were a number of draws that could have gone our way, and we still would have been able to win, even on turn 6 or turn 7. There were some bursts that could have gone slightly different, and we still could have won. So it's not the end of the world. Yeah, even if this has been a white base instead of an Archangel one of those times, that would have been slightly better for us too. So I'm leaving it in. It's not always going to go perfectly. We were very close despite it not starting perfectly and it not finishing perfectly. And you saw in game 1, it can beat it. And it still can beat it. It still had every chance to beat it many, many times. So don't let that scare you. But I do want to at least give you a realistic picture of the deck. It does lose. It's not going to win all the time. All right, everybody. We are back for the 3rd and final match of this video against the Breach Aggro deck. We're going to see what the pseudo mirror is like. They are a little bigger than you, so you do still want to have that rush mentality in mind. But as I mentioned in the Mulligan video, sometimes you may have to be the control deck. Don't be afraid of that. I talked about this particular deck in the first video on kind of the deck makeup of 1 Year War Blitz, but I'm going to go through it real quick in case some of you didn't watch it or don't want to watch it. We have the balls and the Zaku 1s for that quick opening start. and they're good kind of curve fillers to help even out your numbers. A couple GMs, gun tanks, Magwanax, Zaku 2s, solid hitters there, all stuff in my deck. Zaku 2, Razel, Gelgoog. Where they really change is just they have these breach creatures. 3 Shenlong, 3 Wing Gundam. I've seen some people do 4 Shenlong, even go up to 4 Chang Wufei to really lean on that. It just is a little too late in the game and is sort of eggs in one basket-y. Chang Wufei doesn't link well with any other unit, whereas our Char and our Amuro and our deck are very flexible in what they compare with. And again, that's on turn 4, and that just is a critical turn, and I think this is not a big enough, impactful enough play. Wing Gundam, very good card, but level 6, so an aggro deck should want the game over before that even happens. So it's I stepped away from this package, but they have 2 bases just like we do. Only 3 Chars because they have a lot less than we do that compare with them. 2 Changs, 2 Heroes to help rush their big breach threats. Show Resolve because they are playing to go longer, so they would like to draw some cards. This to help their small guys be relevant later in the game, or if they get top decked. Intercept Orders to help tap things down that they want to breach. We are starting the game now. All right, we do get to have one of these. It's not the end of the world. We do have a base, so we can play the control role if necessary. And we have a turn 3 play as well. Hopefully, we'll find another 1-drop to pair with our GM on turn 2. But worst case scenario, we could also do Felmel and this on turn 3 if we drew a 2-cost unit that we could play on turn 2, which I guess is just the Magwanac. So we will not mulligan this hand. We will keep it. There are a lot of bad hands that can come up in the aggro matchup, so if you're on the look, perfect. If you're on the fence, like, don't be afraid to play it a little safe. As long as you have pretty good curve going up the first couple turns, you're okay. Ideally, we want quantity over quality. So the fact that we're going to have 3 units on turn 2 is an excellent place to be. Play our ball, not imposing, but since a lot of times, since we might be in the control role, we might want to trade this off with a Zaku 2, then we get like that right there. I'm sorry, a Zaku 1 was what I meant to say. I guess a Zaku 2 would work too, but same idea. All right, so we were fine. See, there are so many 1-drops in here. You are likely to find a curve filler. On turn 3, we could do this, and we could do these Zakus as well. Not so bad. We are not going to attack with this, because it's just going to die. It's not really worth it. If we had a gun tank, I might consider it, because then we could just pop it off, and we'd be able to play it on a turn we want to play it. But for now, we'll just play our 2 units and pass. We'll be able to pop off that shield next turn if we don't have to be in the control role. And if they only play 1 unit this turn, then we can just go for the aggro kill. See, this, I'm a little confused why they want to do this. But if I needed to go control, I'll attack here. This is why I thought they didn't want to pop that last turn. I can trade here, and I can then heal it on the next attack. So that's something I might do. Let's pop this base first. We know we're doing that. See how that feels. We're getting the 2 AP. This will probably attack here, because they are in the control role now. So that'll have 2 damage. We could play these 2. We still have one of these if I draw a Char, so we can rush. If we draw an Amuro, that's live 2 now. We could play this and this. But with only 1 base in an aggro matchup, and with plenty of things for us to play, I don't feel the need to do it. They could also have a gun tank hiding there, waiting to pop off one of my things. So I don't want to play into that right away. So I think we will play these, but I think I will attack here to get a little value out of this to clear their board, because we are going to be able to play 2 more units, so I don't mind taking a slightly controlling aspect here. Even if they're saving up for their Wu Fei, also not the end of the world, because we're going to be able to play this, and we have some bigger bodies coming up as well. Go here, get rid of that Zaku, because I know well enough to not take the little Zakus for granted and assume they're not going to do much later in the game. They do have those citizens take a stand after all. Hit there. Rest of the unit. Alright, there's one of those gun takes we don't have to worry about now. We're going to play this one here. And this one here. They could theoretically rest it, but they wouldn't. And that would, that would definitely at least trade, and we wouldn't get the extra unit, but then we have 5. And I think intercept orders, I forget how much it costs. I guess they could still play 1 or 2 units. But I'm not too worried playing this naked. Having 5 things here, that card advantage from having the extra thing isn't as important. As I thought, it does attack the Zaku, 2. Is he going to char me? No, he's going to fell Mel. Yeah, this is where a pilot would come in handy. But our ball can trade with this. We have another one, just in case. So here's something I'm going to do. Well, they're a little aggro-y now. I'm thinking about playing this first, just so I can see what my extra card is, but I couldn't really do something with it this turn anyway. So I might wait. I might play this one out, because if I draw the char, I would definitely want to have it with this. So let's clear the base. Let us... We know this one is going to go face. It's just if our ball is going to attack them or attack this char. It will trade with whatever it wants, but it might want to trade here, and I'd rather, if they trade, have this go after a more valuable target. And we still get to play 2 units this turn. So we have nothing to recover, but it lets this guy live for a little longer. We could play our own. The only thing that would our own Felmel, the only thing that would punish us for that is if they have the gun tank. And then I don't have to play this. I can keep this live for in case I draw an Amuro. We know we're playing this Gelgoog. And now it's just, which of these 2 do we want to play? I think I am going to play this. I know that seems a little crazy, but we're really close to the end here. I get to flood the board. I get an extra card, perhaps finding a pilot for one of these. And I don't think they're going to be attacking our bases or shields anyway, but even if they do, they would need a pilot to kill this out in 1 hit. So let's play this aggressively. We're going to get our Charzaku. We've got our gun tank. And I think even if I had played this before I did all my attacks, I still would want to have this board instead over keeping that ball and attacking and then not using my resources efficiently. You just want to sort of, you want to spend more resources than your opponent. We'll end the turn, but I'm feeling like we're in a good position even if they do Wu Fei Shenlong us here. That's the only thing they'd be able to do that turn, and it's just a little too late. They are taking the control route. Oh no, the other Felmel. Well, at least our gun tank will come in handy here. Our opponent's doing really well with their shields against us today. This is sort of odd. They just want it to not die super easily, I guess. Or they want it to be able to do 5 damage, but to clear out that base. You know, that's interesting, actually. No pilot, sadly, so we can't super rush, and we can't hit this in 1 go. But we can, we definitely know we're taking this out, so let's do that. And we are going to get to play all of our units. No, we're going to get to play these 2 units, though. We'll have played 3 extra units here to just keep going down their throats. So I don't mind letting them trade off here. And if they do want to try to race us, they're going to have a hard time, because our shield's pretty helpful here, too. So we're going to... I suppose the order doesn't really matter. Attack here. Attack here. And lastly, we're going here. We know it's not going to be a base. They're out of bases. We're feeling pretty good. Playing a Gundam. playing Naked Char. And even if they, I think now they could intercept orders and Shenlong Wu Fei breach us. But even that's not super impactful. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I guess they know clearing the board here isn't the best. All right, they were able to make a pretty good trade there. And we might not even get to see any of their breach units. But we only let them get to turn 5. It looks like we're going to have this one. Because even if their 2 units cleared off these 2 units, they have nothing to stop the rest of our units. So you might say, hey, the AI was sort of dumb here. But based on apparently what was their hand, and we'll take a look at what was in there after the game is over, they weren't going to be able to stop us there anyway. We created the inevitability just by being able to go fast enough. There's no blockers here. So unless they can trade off, keep up with our trades, which they can't because they have less units, then we set up an inevitability a turn or 2 before they die. Here on turn 5, they were effectively dead because of what we now know is in their hand. So let us attack with our Zaku 2. Yep, and we'll let our gun tank win the game again for us. Go, gun tank, go. So we have in their hand, see, look, they have, this thing's just dead in their hand. They didn't even get to live to the turn where they got to play it. And this was their other thing. So they weren't going to be able to beat us. They weren't going to be able to beat us on turn 5, maybe on turn 4, but they did have a draw or 2 to figure that out. That is what I have to say. That is why I don't like the breach package. I don't want this thing dying in my hand. It doesn't matter how many cards you draw if you die before you get to play most of them. A lot of my blue-white opponents, I guess both of them, when I played them at the tournament, they had 5, 6 or more cards in hand. At the end, they had a full grip. They just didn't get to deploy them all. We know we lost one in the middle there, but that one was close with a bad hand. The other blue-white, the first blue-white matchup that we won, we also started with a not optimal hand, a pretty medium hand. And this hand, our mulligan decision paid off, but I think it was the right one. And we were able to just keep flooding the board, play 2 units a turn for the next several turns, and have a couple, I guess we didn't even have a link unit in there. We didn't get to rush at all, and we still run over them easy. Look, we only lost 1 shield, and we lost that shield because we played that base proactively. So just keep that in mind. Some people still swear by the Shenlongs. Maybe you just run the Shenlongs and not the wings, and that frees up some piloting so you can do some chars and some extra Wu Feis and fit more units in there. Maybe you don't need all the commands that you have. If you're not running wing, maybe you don't need the show or resolve. There are ways to make your breach deck lower to the ground too. I think low is where you want to be because blue-white just has so many answers and the field is so compact it can have all the answers it needs in the deck. It doesn't have to worry about being stretched too thin. So keep that in mind as you play your games. I wish you all the best of luck. And let me know in Discord at Titan9, just like the channel, or comments of the video how you guys did when you were there or whatever beta events you end up playing in the future if you were to play this deck. If you have any other questions, you can message in the Discord. You can write the comment in the YouTube channel. And I'll try to get back to you in time for your beta weekend battles. Thank you all for watching. Best of luck.